Is this your bag?
No.
Is that your bag?
Oh, no, it's Marty's.
All right, no worries. Excuse me.
This wasn't a shoe. There, sorry to get back with you.
Okay, no worries.
Did you get my text message? Oh, I think just the one. We've got a open house opportunity this weekend if you don't have one already set up. What you got? It's a site condo off of Boniface, right by the Bergt gate. There's a couple pending listings in the area, all priced above. Similar, almost completely identical units, really. 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, unfinished basement. Will be about 600 square feet if it's finished. It was even a spot to put some other finished basements in the complex have bathrooms on that bottom floor too. Right, that's what you were talking about. So it said it's a great investment opportunity, VA opportunity. That's what we're willing to do. As house assistants trying to shoot for a trip right now. So, yeah.
How are you guys?
Good. It's Gina today.
Good. So the house will be ready next weekend. The covers are going in on Thursday and 15th and Tuesday. That's the weekend before Memorial. Not doing it. But the weekend before will be the first open house and the first time it's not 50 minutes. So that'll probably be it. If you want to still want to. I'll put you in. And we will get, I'll have the, we don't let us out. Photographer out there Wednesday or Thursday. We can get the photos and the shows and all that stuff. And then maybe like Thursday or Friday, we can go out there and do a walkthrough.
It's going. It is. I had an open house this weekend, sucked, but that's so pretty. I got 2 other open houses I'm gonna do this weekend. It's gonna be raining, so it rains hit or miss. Some people don't like going outside in the rain, but hopefully it's just like little rain.
Yeah.
Not just pouring cats and dogs and stuff.
I don't think it's supposed to.
It's a hit or miss, and the location where you're at. There wasn't very good places to put my signs where I was at. And I figured it out, but from the road, it was just really hard because there was nothing but concrete.
Oh,
And luckily, Janet, I mean, there's 2 of her stand-up signs that pulled out and it just stands on the road. So I put those 2 on the road. That's all I could. Normally I put like a couple on the road, like a little bit further back.
I have 4 you can borrow if you want. I'm not gonna need it. Yeah, just let me know. I can bring them in and throw them in my car or some on my house or whatever.
Yeah, whatever works. I'm gonna do it on Saturday, one on Sunday.
They're the stand signs.
Yeah,
You
that'd
don't
be-
stand by them.
that's what I did with Janet. I got little open house signs and then the big open house signs. And I was able to actually put my name on the sticker with them, like, there's like that much, like, if it was blowing hard, it would fly, but it was fun for you.
Yeah, yeah.
They
I've
were
been watching
windy
it
yesterday,
too.
but they held up.
Yeah. I'll try to remember to phone my car.
Yeah, no, and if anything, I'll just call you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I live in South Anchorage. I don't live in South Anchorage.
no, I live in East Anchorage, but, my mom lives in Southside, so I'm always around.
Okay, well, I'll try to remember to phone my car tomorrow.
I'll text you.
That'll be great.
Text you. Gina, sign.
Yeah. and
I'll
I'll
remind
still-
you. I'm like, oh, yes, thank you.
When you get home, you just get.
No,
Focus on
I
something
totally understand. I try not to focus too much about work when I'm at home because it consumes every part of my life, literally, so.
Tammy.
But
You look so nice
I
today. I
always
like
think about
this.
real estate, so it's hard not to.
You're always thinking about it.
You gonna help me with how many points? Just how you go. You can really just detach that last page.
He gets in the ways of, like, chicken wings and cheeseburgers.
Yeah, right? My friend and I were like, okay, we're gonna stop eating out and we're gonna eat super healthy. Well, we cleaned my room yesterday and 2 Taco Bell bags and a McDonald's bag and a Qdoba bag later.
You're so lazy,
Yeah, I felt super lame after that. I was like, oh.
And then after you got done eating it, you're like, why did I eat this?
I never feel good.
She's going to talk to us about how to live with less, or lack, no stress lives. And I'm so stressed I can't even say it. Yeah, come join us up here.
Yes.
You don't have to be a regular, not to sit at the regular table. Come have a seat. Hello, everybody.
Going to.
We actually didn't even do our session last
I would
week
love
because,
to.
Beautiful. My team.
let's get started, please. Amanda, can you do that later? So we can, don't interrupt. Okay, around the room, really quick. You have to say your name and you have to tell us on a scale of 1 to 5 how stressed you are. 1 is not at all, I'm asleep, I'm perfect. 5 is I'm ready for a nervous breakdown. 1 to 5.
We do half steps.
So around the room, starting with Amanda, give us your name and give us your stress level, 1 to 5.
My name is Amanda, and on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm just gonna put middle and say 2.5.
She's a 2.5. Okay.
I'm not stressed.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Megan. My stress level is probably at a 3.5 right now due to moving companies and trying to figure things out on my own. But other than that, I think I got it under control. But
What company did you come from?
Real Estate Brokers of Alaska.
Welcome aboard. We're
Yes.
really pleased you're here. How many years of experience do you have, or is it like 5 minutes?
Just one.
1 year. Okay, and do you still love real estate?
I love real estate. I absolutely love it.
Good.
It motivates me every day.
And we're really, what you do before real estate?
I was in accounting and I was an audit reviewer at Alaska National Insurance for workers' comp.
Interesting.
Fun.
So we
Absolutely.
think Real Estate Brokers of Alaska is a really good company, but tell us why you came to Jack White.
Well, me and Miss Gina had lunch and she actually told me about this class and about boot camp and just how lovely Jack White is. And then I met up with her about 5 days later and she took me on a tour of the building and everybody was super friendly and made me feel at home and just not stuck up or stuffy or anything. And man, it's been a amazing experience in the 2.5 weeks I've been here so far. I'm actually happy to get up and go to work, and nothing was wrong with Real Estate Brokers Alaska. Just the environment of my team was just a little different and not on my level.
How about a round of applause for this lady? We are so glad you're here, and everything you said about Jack White, it'll be that way day in and day out. Yeah, it's great team, great office.
Can
Go ahead.
I just add one thing? Clint?
Absolutely.
The really wonderful thing about just having 1 year, you don't have any bad habits to unlearn yet.
Yeah.
Right. No, agree.
So my stress level, I would say probably, well, not asleep. So I guess it's not 1, but like 1.2, whatever. I'm not really stressed. So.
And you are?
Oh, Gina Bergt.
She's our salesman. She doesn't follow directions at all, but she is our sales manager. So let me ask you a question.
And has a good sense of humor, thank goodness.
Yes, she does, or I couldn't have gotten away with that. Gina, now, when you were actually in the trenches selling real estate on a full-time basis, was your stress level different than it is as a manager?
It just kind of depended. I would say probably in the last year, I still didn't have a ton of stress. I have a lot of my referral business, and those people are just a lot easier to work with than people that don't already trust you and have that.
Exactly.
And so I think that helps with the stress level, and I really try to work really hard at not taking their monkeys on my back and them keeping their own monkeys. And so that's something I learned, I don't know, a few years back, and it really has helped me to make sure that help people solve their own problems, but not take the problem on as my own. And I think that's really key to eliminate your stress.
What a wonderful advice. Continuing around the room.
Yes, I'm Martin Chersick, and I'd say my stress level is about 3.
A 3? Okay.
And I would say that because, I was talking to Kathy Johnson, and she nailed it on the head. It's, you come from one job, and you know it well, and every day is kind of easy. And then all of a sudden you make this leap into a new career, and every day is a learning curve, and you want to hurry up and know it, but it takes time. So that's my stress level, is not being prepared and ready to go forward right now. So it's just stepping back, learning, and getting my groundwork in.
I've been selling real estate for over 40 years, and I want you to know I learn something new every single day. Never wait to be totally prepared in this business, or you'll never make a sale. You just have to go with your gut instinct and be a salesperson and be trustworthy, and all of those things. But don't wait until you think you're ready, because you're never ready, not in this business.
And there's always people here to support you.
And absolutely.
The best answers are here.
Next.
My name's Aaron Asbury. My stress level is probably a 3, maybe a 3.5. I kind of find myself in the same boat as Marty, just wanting to have certain things in place before you go forward. And that, of course, as you're starting out, it's impossible, so you just have to, I guess, be easy on yourself, because I always feel like there's more I could be doing, and when I do an audit of what I've done, I'm like, okay, calm down. So it's stress management is super important. Really what I'm doing in this class.
What's your name first?
My name's John Wilson, and what's my stress range?
Scale of 1 to 5. 1 is you're asleep, no stress. 5 is you're ready to have no stress.
About 4.3.
Oh my God!
Would have never guessed.
Right.
Well,
I have as many pendings now as I've ever had, so
how many, John?
7.
Wow!
Anybody help you with those? Yeah, thank goodness for Lee. She's keeping me on track.
She's a very calm person.
Yeah, keeps me, make sure I get everything done, so.
Well, that's awesome. And
I'm
John's
happy
been in the
about it.
business only 2 years. That's amazing. Wow. And he does everything right. He's our poster boy.
Yeah.
James Sparks, I don't know, that's just probably about 3. Just dealing with Ryan Deal on 79th and everything also, so just keeping it, trying to keep it even, taking on what I can.
Do you ever wonder, the public thinks we make way too much money, don't they? Of course, what the public doesn't realize is that we only get paid, we don't get paid for everything we do, we only get paid on the transactions that get to closing, and there's a lot of stress with that. And I continue to say we are worth $500 an hour. And when you think about all the transactions that you worked hard on that never went to closing and your stress level, then we are worth about $500 an hour. And I think it's important to think like that. Uh-oh. It's the nervous breakdown. I can see it in her face.
I would say, about 4.5. I'm not gonna have a nervous breakdown, but I have signs in my body that tell me that the stress level is, and it is, it's a very complicated thing. So 4.5.
And her name is?
Oh, I'm sorry, I am scanning everybody.
We know, but it's good to have you say your name again.
I'm Carl. My stress is at like 1.1, but I just got back from a 2-week vacation, so I feel really good. I feel really, yeah, that was nice. It was fun.
Good to be back.
To do this one, it is really good to be back. I was telling Kathy it was actually almost 2 days too long of vacation. I got everything I had to do, and now it was time to like get back to the real world. So good to be here.
We'll ask you what your stress level is tomorrow.
I can see it steadily increasing. I'll need vacation like.
Oh, you're right, Carl. No more vacations for you for a year.
I'm Lynn, stress level's going to 3.
It's a 3. Okay. I'm Kathy Fernandez, Jack White Real Estate. My stress level is about a 4, which is in part why we're having this class. Okay, so we did that. Thank you. How about I need 2 success stories, please? And Carl, you can't give us one because it doesn't count.
Okay.
We're talking about in real estate.
Yeah, I feel really successful, but I see where you're coming from.
Any success stories, anybody? John, don't you have one for
Sign
us?
calls would be the thing.
Okay, yeah.
Sign calls and tenants on multifamily homes.
Uh-oh.
Can be true. Sign calls off the multifamily homes that I've listed, and tenants turning into clients.
Ooh. Because you probably remembered to ask the tenant who you're going to have to move out so that the sale could progress if they wanted to be buyers, right? Good job. Good job. Yeah, just have to ask for the order every time. Every time. Okay. Any more success stories? I think Amanda has a success story. Oh. This is probably why my stress level is at 4 o'clock. We just mentioned this client's name and my stress level goes way up. And if it wasn't for Amanda, she would not be in contract. I think I told you this story. This is the buyer we fired. We have fired this lady at least 3 or 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Given her earnest money back more than once, did termination agreements for her and tore up the representation agreement. And yet she's in contract today, thanks to Amanda, because Amanda doesn't give up. She just keeps after this lady. Meets her at coffee houses. Oh, anyway, congratulations on that, Amanda. If we ever get to closing, it will be a miracle, but that's okay. Any field problems? Field problems, anybody? Okay. Quickly, let's go through our points. Now we have a newcomer here.
She's already on the team.
And which team did you put her on? Team 2, yeah. Team 2 needed some people. They only had 3 people on their team. And essentially, it's not rocket science. You're going to look at all the ways you can get points for your team. And for those who don't remember, at the end of the session, which will be May 16. What? No, I'm sorry, Amanda. On July 4 will be the end of this second session of Trenches. And the losing team has to do something wonderful for the other teams. Like lunch, like root beer floats, like champagne, something cool. So try not to lose. All right, our winning team today is Billy Worthy's team, and Billy is in Serbia doing a marine stuff. So anyway, Billy's team is the winning team so far with 521 points. Other team members are me, James, and John Wilson. I can't believe I beat John. Our high point getter on the team is actually me. John always beats us. Anyway, to get the points I have, 196 points. That's 6 open houses, showed 8 clients, wrote 9 offers, 4 listings live, 6 contracts received and offers accepted, 20 closings, well, 20 points in closings, that's 4 closings. 8 listing presentations, 48 prospect calling, 31 name tag wearing, 51 business cards, attended 7 classes, that's me. Okay. The second winning team, and we just gave you a team member, Erin, is Erin, and Erin is the high point getter with 11 open houses, showed 5 clients, wrote 5 offers, 3 new listings. Erin, that's amazing for a new realtor. That's very good work. Actually, you're doing everything right. You've received 1 contract or had an offer accepted. You've done 4 listing presentations. You've done 81 prospect calls. Actually, you're just behind John on prospect calling. You've worn your name tag 26 times. You've handed out 183 business cards. How are you handing out 183 business cards?
I'm mailing that with letters.
Okay, fair enough. You've attended 14 classes or sales meetings, and you've attended 2 or 5 times for 338 points. Actually, you are the highest point getter of everyone here today. Yes. Erin. And what was your stress level?
3.5.
All right, well, it's paying off. Stress,
Okay,
you know,
that seems to be working.
stress is better than no stress at all. It's just like bad breath is better than no breath at all, right? Think about that. Okay. And Amanda's the leader of the 3rd team. And Amanda's the high point getter with 197 points. Actually, just 1 point behind me, Amanda. That's amazing. 5 open houses, showed 26 clients, wrote 1 offer, received 1 contract that was accepted, 1 listing presentation, 70 prospect calls, wore her name tag 20 times, 60 business cards she's handed out, 12 times she's attended meetings, and she's attended 2 or 1s, and that's all while working for me full time. Good job, Amanda.
Great job.
Gina, you're on.
Okay, so some of you were at a sales meeting this morning, and if you were, and you've already filled this out, then you don't have to do it again. But if you have not, go ahead and take a couple minutes and do the little test here. Oh, I'm sorry. Give me a example. And when you finish, write the number of check marks at the top right corner. Is everyone finished? So how many of you had 9 or more? Be honest. Okay, be honest. You are practically vibrating. You need to take a vacation, consider finding a friend to talk to about your fears and frustrations, and use positive talk to talk to yourself and help you keep calm. It's a whole vacation.
Talk to Carl.
We're going to talk about that.
Carl will tell you all about his vacation. That might help a little bit.
I was gonna push you to sleep. I'm gonna talk and talk and talk.
So who has 6 to 8 check marks?
Me.
Okay. You're a prime candidate for value. Try practicing anxiety control exercises such as visualizing yourself solving the problems that worry you. Learn to say no when you don't have time for anything else. Okay, who has 3 to 5? Okay. You're stressed, but have it under control. Consider adding some physical exercise or recreational activity to your schedule that helps you keep in balance. And you had 2 or fewer.
Which is strange because I'm super stressed, but it's just not easy enough to.
What causes those?
It's not my kid.
Oh, so if you have 2 or
That's a whole
fewer,
different one.
says you are so unstressed, you probably don't belong in real estate.
There you go.
Keep up the good work, let the rest of us know exactly how you do it. So who was it that had less? Andrea, and did you have 2 or
Yeah.
less?
Oh, yeah, well, I had 3.
Okay, so you're the only one that had 2 or fewer.
Just at this time, because my focus is not here.
Okay. So I think this is really interesting. There's another thing I want to kind of give you a visualization about. So you think of this like cup here. So you hold this cup out here, and you can hold it like this for, like 1, 2, maybe 3 minutes. And it starts to get a little heavy, but you can deal with it. I mean, it doesn't hurt too bad. You start holding it for like an hour, and it's going to start hurting. And it's going to start hurting really bad after a day. You hold it for a day, your arm will probably be completely paralyzed and losing muscle. So think of this as stress. You hold stress in your body for a few hours, or even a day, until the end of the day. And then you let it go, and you can deal with it. You can live with that. You hold it more than a day, and it starts to hurt, and it starts to affect you. It starts to affect everything that you do in your life. Then when you start holding it for longer than that, then you become paralyzed. You can't think correctly. You can't do the things you want to do. It will actually paralyze you and cause you health problems as well. So it's really important that you let that stress go every day. And so we're going to go over some different ways, a lot of different ways, because everyone deals with stress differently. So we have these to kind of take home, put it on your mirror or wherever, under your pillows. Just to read through it and give you ideas and help you focus when you're feeling like it's out of control and you can't seem to.
Go ahead. No, I was just saying, pass it over.
You
got it?
Okay.
Nope.
I got one. Everyone have one?
Okay.
So I think, for realtors, a lot of us, we're perfectionists, and I've talked about this before. We don't say we're going to give up bacon. We say we're going to go vegetarian. We're not going to start walking. We're going to run marathons. So, it's what we do. We don't go little. We go big or go home, which is how we're wired.
Is that a type A personality, you think?
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's tough to rein in sometimes, but you have to realize it's good to have those goals, but you also can't wear yourself out. And so, for number one is make peace with imperfection. Do your best, but you're a human being. You're not always going to be perfect. And to try to live in the present, and I think that's really important, because when you're thinking about, I've got to do this or I've got to do that, and you're not living in today and what you got to do today, then it does cause you stress in a lot of ways. Spend a moment every day thinking of someone to thank. That's one reason why I did the gratitude jar at the front desk, because it's really important for you to just think about things you're grateful for. Because when you think about something you're grateful for, or people you're grateful for, or things in general you're grateful for, it takes you away from the negativity. That's to be nothing but positive. And so it just gives you a moment of euphoria or happiness to think about something that you're grateful for. Get out and walk. A lot of times when you're feeling stressed, if you just go walk, it helps. Smile at strangers, look them in the eye. Remember to be, we just talked about that. Choose your battles wisely. Nothing stresses you out more than being in an argument. So if you can avoid the argument, then it's really not worth it. Then just walk away. I thought this was kind of cute. Create a stress reduction box. Include pictures of your children, pets, cartoons, just different things that when you're stressed out, you can look at those things and kind of let it go. Excuse me. And number 9 is a big one. You can't please everybody, and you shouldn't even try to. And you have to realize that. And I think that's the one thing that causes the most stress is when you have a client who's upset, you have people who are upset about something, and because you want to please them, you want to help them, you don't want them to be mad at you. But it's going to happen. And you have to just realize it's not always personal against you. It's their stress level or a situation that's happening that you probably can't even control. And so you have to be able to just let that go or bring it back to what they're really upset about. And a lot of times if you talk to them and you ask a lot of questions and just start kind of getting to the root of it, it'll dispense their stress as well. And I know a lot of people are feeling stressed right now because properties aren't selling quite as fast as they were. And there's things that are sitting on the market and they're not going. And you're like, why aren't they selling? I did a market analysis, should be selling at this price. So because of that, next Tuesday, I'm going to be doing a sales meeting about that, talking about, dialogue and where we sit and how to talk to people to help them, get the price down and get them on the same page as you. And when you do listing, you get them on the same page as you, and it becomes a partnership. So they realize you got to work together, and it's not your fault their house isn't selling. The market can change. So those are things we'll talk about next week. Breathing before you speak. Sometimes when you take a deep breath, it helps relieve that stress level a little bit. And then talk to yourself positively. When you start realizing that you've got all these negative thoughts going through your head about yourself, just stop it and say, stop doing that. Okay, this is not me. I am a good person. It's not about me. So it's important to do that. And then concentrate on doing one thing at a time. Try to eat lunch. Talk to a client. Put the finishing touches on a property that has not been in today and a surefire recipe for stress and mistakes. So don't try to do 5 things at one time. Just concentrate on doing one thing and then going to the next thing and finishing that one thing. The next part kind of talks about managing your time more efficiently. So all these different things are ways to relieve stress in different ways. So, and I think we have talked about this in the past, where the first 15 minutes of the day and the last 15 minutes of the day, do this. And I don't know about you guys, but that's like a huge thing for me because, and I'll sometimes won't even realize that I'm going to be thinking about work, but so I'll try to go to sleep. And I'm laying in bed, and then all of a sudden, all this stuff starts going through my head about work. I'm like, oh, I got to remember to do that. I don't want to forget to do that tomorrow. And I used to just lay there and think it'll go away, but it didn't. An hour later, I'm still not asleep. And so now I write it down. But then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to forget because I just wrote it down, and it's off my plate, out of my brain. I can go to sleep now. And I think that really helps. It does for me anyway. And then you're deciding what part of the day you're most productive. And I mean, sometimes people work best in the morning, sometimes afternoon, sometimes evening. And wherever they're most productive, that's when you need to plan to do the things you have to get done that day. When you've got the most energy to do it. And then planning your time efficiently. Like small tasks that you can do in a short amount of time, do those right away. Just get them off your plate. So if it takes you 5 minutes to do something, do it right then. Don't even put it on the list. Don't wait. Just do it. When you're returning phone calls, minimize phone tags by including a time that you can be reached. Then the most time on a job that produces the most income. So in real estate, that's really important. So if you have a lot of things on your plate, then to call that client back, follow up with that client, show property, that's going to produce you the most income. So the paperwork, let the transaction coordinator do that for you. Don't spend all your time doing the paperwork when you need to be in front of that client getting more business. That's where most people get completely bogged down, is they get stuck on the paperwork and they write a contract and they spend like a week on paperwork and calls and setting things up. They've not made one single prospect call, one single thing, that's totally off filter. And then they're a week behind. And then the next week goes, and then they're stressing out because, oh no, I've got 2 closings and I wanted 3 this month, and now I've got to figure out how to start all over and get the momentum going. If you keep the momentum going all the time, it's going to reduce your stress level because you're not going to be going like this all the time. You'll be more steady. And then reward yourself with 15 minutes of fun after completing a difficult job. Or, go out with your husband, friend, wife, girlfriend, anybody, and say, we're going to have, celebrate tonight because I just did this closing, or I just did whatever. Different people do different things for closings, and I think that's kind of a fun thing to do. Figure out a thing that you do when you do a closing, or you buy a contract, or whatever. Kind of reward yourself for the hard work that you do, because you deserve that. Creating a system for prioritizing tasks, but plan on reevaluating the priorities daily. And that's part of the thing that you have to do in real estate, because you can make a list of all your things you have to do, but all of a sudden someone calls you and says, oh, yeah, I know you were supposed to show me property in 2 days, but we got from Canada faster than we thought, and so we'll be ready tomorrow. You've got to reevaluate what you got to do if you're showing property tomorrow. So that happens, and you have to be able to do that and figure it all out. So the next page, we talk about tips for using scraps of time, which I think this is really important too, because a lot of times you have like little bits of time, and you feel like, okay, I've got 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 20 minutes here, but it's not enough time to do a full task. So always have on your list things that only take a few minutes to do, and have the stuff with you. So when you have those few minutes, when a client's 15 minutes late or coming to a property, you can actually get one of your little tasks checked off. So you'll feel like you're just wasting your time 15 minutes waiting on this person. You can make phone calls, you can complete some paperwork, you can write a note or a personal card to someone that you need to do. So little things like that. Keep some of that stuff in your car with you at all times, so you're prepared to take care of those things. And a note app always. So when you think of things that you have to do or that you didn't get done or you have to reevaluate, you have it written down and you can add it into your phone later or whatever you do. Or do it stress reduction if you don't want to stress. And then the other part, some people are into these things, some people aren't. I put it on here because it's in some people's wheelhouse. A lot of it, like for instance, number 1 would be turn off the negative. So this is like an exercise. I'm not going to do the exercise with you guys because some people are listening, some people aren't. But you can just think something to think about. So if you're feeling like really stressed, what it pretty much says is start humming or whistling. Because when you're humming or whistling, it's really hard to be completely stressed and doing that. So, and maybe that works for some people, maybe it doesn't. They talk about yoga. I mean, sometimes meditating, really, going to a different place, that works for people. And if it works for you, then you should do that. Other people, and I've done this, and I think this actually, it can work. It's kind of going to a different place, going to your happy place. To a place that makes you happy. If you love being at the beach, close your eyes and visualize yourself at the beach, the way it smells, the way the sand feels. I mean, like, go all the way in. I mean, everything that you can remember, experience in there. Down to the birds, all of that, the ocean. And then just close your eyes and think about that for about a minute or 2. And then it does help, like, relieve that a little bit. It's kind of like a mini vacation. And then the next one, I think is really important, is talks about avoiding interruptions. This is huge for real estate. And I'm going to read through this because it is really important. So Bob had a listing presentation in 2 hours for a beautiful home. He's sure he will sell immediately. He's working away, reviewing and polishing his presentation when Les sticks his head in the door. Bob, I need some advice on how to convert a sell-by owner in this market. You're so good at this. Bob could. So what should Bob do here?
Schedule another time.
Mm-hmm.
Or say someone else that is good at it.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of us, instead of doing this, oh sure, come on in. I've got 5 minutes, and it's never 5 minutes.
35 minutes later.
Well, then you become late, and then all the time you have to call them back. So this is another part of learning to say, not no necessarily, but learning the dialogue of what you can do to recommand your time. And that's really important, is you do have to do that from time to time. Because you have this client you have to deal with. Yes, you don't have anyone running right this second, but it doesn't mean that you're not working on something. So you do have to make sure you can be able to have the dialogue that you do to avoid interruptions in your day that are going to sidetrack you. There's another one. Sue's acknowledging an office expert on technology. She just returned from an entire morning of showing property to an out-of-town buyer and has 20 phone messages to return before 5 p.m. When she needs to leave to help her son with a baseball practice. Her fellow associate, Ricky, comes in to ask Sue help with programming his new smartphone. This is the 4th time Ricky's asked her for help this month. She could, of course, just say no, politely but firmly. Vague answers just offer encouragement. Explain the reason for her refusal, that she wants to get to see her son play basketball or baseball. Or offer their alternative, have him go read tech support or something like that. So there's 3 different ways that she could handle it. And it just really depends on the personality of the person and how they want to do that. And then there's Jeff, who's a great sales manager in many ways, but he loves meetings. Oscar estimated from his time log that he had lost 10 hours this month to unproductive meetings. What could he do to avoid losing 10 more next month? He could review the next meeting agenda and go only to the part of the meeting that has value. Send a written statement as a substitute, or ask to receive copies of the minutes. So just to give you some ideas of how to avoid interruption. And that's like one huge thing that happens to us all the time. And it's just like a huge, not only a time drain, but it's an energy drain because it causes you stress. You're trying to help this person, you're thinking, in the beginning, oh, this is like helpful, but then it drains all your energy because now it causes you stress because you're not getting done what you're supposed to get done.
You touched on that at the meeting last week. Can you talk a little bit more about the difference between leveraging time and energy?
Yeah. Well, for one, as I said, you have 24 hours in a day at work. So the best thing to do is focus your energy on the things that are most important for you to get done. And spend your energy doing that and not on the things that are just going to be a time waste or a time suck. And it happens a lot. I mean, people will constantly use your energy. And even when it's like, for instance, if someone comes in and all they want to do is bitch about whatever. I mean, their life, their husband, their wife, their kids, their dog, whatever. Is that really a good use of your energy to sit and listen to them? Probably not. And so it's best to redirect that to something else, or just, I've got a meeting in 5 minutes that you've got to get to. So and plus when you do that, it's an energy drain for you and for them. It's not helping anybody. And it's going to cause stress for you and for them. So to be able to think of things in a positive light, to solve a problem or to help someone, it's always good to stay in a positive. When things start going in the weeds and the negative, it's not going to end well. And so, of course, there's things that people have to tell you about that aren't pleasant, that you have to deal with, of course. And that's understandable. But it needs to stay on point. It needs to be facts, things you can actually do something about. And if they're not your problems to solve, you need to help them solve the problem. Put it back onto them to solve the problem. And then that's using your energy in the best way. But the main thing is you have to do a task list of things that need to be done. And you need to use your energy for your highest return on value of what you need to get done. So if you're thinking that you have the highest return on your investment is making phone calls to your past clients or following up with your referral list, then that's where you need to spend the majority of your day, every day. You're still going to have things that aren't the best return on your energy that you have to do, but you need to spend the majority of your day doing that. And then you're going to be more productive as the day goes on, and the weeks and months and everything else. And a lot of people, when you, the exercise that we did about that is, when you think about how much, when you think about what that activity is, it gives you the highest return on your investment, whatever that activity is, and you put down how much time you actually spend doing it. And then you put down how much time you should be doing it. There's usually at least a 10% gap in there of what you should be doing and what you are doing. If you can increase that by 1%, 2%, it doesn't have to be, 100%, just a little bit. If you were doing it for 20 minutes a day, then, or if you were doing it, once a week, do it twice a week. Just incremental changes, small incremental steps to get there. And then it won't seem like such a monumental task, and you'll actually stick to it and do it. If you make it too big, you'll give up. And you just run away. I'll give myself as an example. I haven't been feeling like great lately, and so I was like, I'm going to start eating healthier and that kind of thing. So at first I was like, I'm going to start, I'll just eat no dairy, no, it's like things like coffee, should be drinking coffee, should be drinking. I'm like, wait a minute, wait. I'm not going to do that. I love coffee. I have to have coffee every day. You guys cannot even live with me. So I'm like, I'm not giving up coffee, but I will start drinking juice in the morning instead of eating other things. Supplement some of the things that I've been eating that aren't as healthy or more healthier things. So even I talk about these things, but I have to rein myself in too at times and say, no, wait a minute, what am I doing here? And I almost said, okay, I'm really going to try today not to have coffee. And I watched a coffee girl and I'm like, I'm going to give up coffee, but I changed my mind. I'm having coffee today.
I have that conversation with myself every morning.
Yeah.
It's not good.
But I've made incremental changes that are going to make me healthier. So that's the key. You do little things. You don't try to do everything at one time because it's just not going to work. But I can teach today too. Incremental change right here. So those are a lot of things that will help you reduce stress. What do you guys do? I mean, if you have to do something that you feel like it helps you reduce stress. Does that mean one exercise? Yeah. Does that give you Andrea?
I like to just read a book, something positive, find a new plan.
You put yourself into that story and you read about that instead of everything going on.
Take my mind off of the problem and look at something positive. And force myself to smile if I'm not smiling, because I'll find myself absolutely not smiling and not realizing it. I don't want to be me too. I'm just thinking to myself, hey, what's wrong with you?
Ask what's wrong.
What's wrong? Nothing.
I like to just just get up and move around. You might actually see me just pacing the second floor, just giving a walk around. That really helps, I noticed. That feeling you get, when you're taking a test and the deadline's coming up and you have to finish all the answers. Once you get that sensation, right here, that's when you just need to stop it.
Absolutely.
That seems to work.
Yeah. Barbara's out there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I would be a good ball walker.
I try and get 3 or 4 good sessions a week. Maybe 30, 40 minutes a day of solid food.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a long time. Which comes to shove is breathing exercises. Breathing in with ease and breathing out with stress. And find something positive, some lessons to try to start. Because someone else has got the worst.
There's several of these things that I did last year had change. And it's made a big difference. Mainly the big one is gym time exercise. Because within the gym time, I get one-on-one quality personal time. I am living in the morning, going to headphones. It's the same effect as sitting and reading a book. And in my head, I'm in the moment. I'm not
Aaron absolutely hit my favorite one, which is just getting up and moving. Other than that, I'll just distract myself by listening to an album I've listened to 1,000 times, watching a movie I've seen 1,000 times. Just the noise just distracts me and helps me unwind.
Learning a variety of things, but this time of year, favorite thing is gardening. You got something bothering you, you go out and attack those weeds. It's amazing when you feel afterwards. And it's all clean and pretty besides. And you've got your physical energy to go exercise, so.
If I'm able, at the end of the day and first thing in the morning, exactly what you have here, Gina, if I'm able to plan my day and my week, that really reduces stress for me. If I've gotten so busy, I don't even have time to do that, my stress level doubles. Because, and I've actually missed appointments if I'm not on top of the appointments. And once I've got that handled, evening and morning, I feel like I'm in control of the day. And even though the day changes every hour, there's still some control. And I try to, if there's a task to do, I try to make an appointment with myself to do that task in this 1 hour. So at 3 o'clock, from 3 to 4, I'm going to attack this task. And even though there will be interruptions, I can still try to focus on the task. And that puts me in control of getting the job done and not letting another task take precedence. And the other thing for me is, again, exercise really helps me tremendously. And if I would just drink a whole lot more water, I found just drinking cold water brings my stress level down.
I mostly like to go on a drive. And I like to find a back road where there's a lot of trees and no stoplights. Stoplights are the exact opposite effect. And I just like to drive. Sometimes I go on and drive out to Bergwood, just to drive out to Bergwood, just to clear my head, turn the music up loud, put on the gas pedal and go. So that's what I do to reduce stress. I just hop in the car and drive.
I do the same thing. I get in the car and I normally go down to Girdwood, or I'll go down to the inlet down Fifth, and then I'll go walking around the trail. But I normally get in my car, blast the music, and just get on the highway down and just go towards Girdwood and to the waterfall. Not all the way to Girdwood, but you know where the big waterfall is. I don't know what it's called, but I always stop there and then just looking at the inlet and especially when it's sunset. So it just gets your mind off everything.
There's different zodiac signs that like water. So,
I'm a Scorpio. I'm a water sign too.
It's hilarious.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. I'm a water person for sure. I'm a fire too. I like fire, but I like water.
So that's interesting too. But yeah, those are the main things. It's just I think focus on your list, and when you realize that you're getting to that level, it's really good to look back and say, all right, why am I stressed out? What is happening here? Is it that client who I'm trying to take on all their problems, which a lot of times that's it. And if it is, you said, okay, those are not my problems. How am I going to put it back onto them? What am I going to do to help them? Like I used to always, like if they want a contractor to go do this or do that, I would say, okay, I'll call someone for you. I don't do that anymore. I say, here is a list of contractors. Call them and, I've used them in the past, they're great. And you can schedule whatever time works good for you. If you don't want to be there, you can't be there, I can set up a code for the lockbox and they can go whenever it's convenient for them. That's what I do. I don't volunteer to go there anymore. I don't volunteer to be there. Because what I found was, when you do that, they make you as responsible as the contractor. And it wasn't, you didn't go do the work, but if they aren't happy with a contractor, something happens with the contractor, he doesn't show up, on and on and on. It becomes your fault as well. And when you take that off and you give them two to choose from, and they're the ones who chose, they're the ones who called them, they're the ones who brought them out there, then it becomes not your fault anymore. And so that's one thing that I used to do that I don't do anymore that's made my life a lot easier. And it's really not your job to do that anyway. It really isn't. And it's their work that needs to be done on their house. It's not your house. And so it's important to realize and to draw that line on where the monkeys belong. They're back, they're back. And if it's your responsibility, then take it on and do it. But if it isn't, don't take it on. You know, they can bring the monkey in, they can take the monkey back. And it's important to do that. That will reduce a ton of your stress by just that one thing. And making the list to organize your day. And that I'm the same way. I have to have everything lined down that I have to do for the day. Otherwise, I'm feeling frazzled. Like, did I forget something for something I'm supposed to do? That's why I love the smartphone. Because I put everything in there. Like every calendar, every event, even when I have like a bunch of tasks to do, I'll still schedule them in my iPhone. I may not, it's reminders. I may not do it at that exact time, but at least I know it's on there. I can go back and check, okay, I got all that done today, or that gets tomorrow, but that is other things that were more important today. Whatever it may be, but I think those are all really, really important things that help. Even if there's two things that you take away today. I know you can't remember everything, but their monkey is their monkey, not your monkey, is important. And just making that list of things to do will help. Any questions?
I just have one more comment. I just asked if I need to work with someone else, and it was a huge, long overdue, necessary actions that I need to take. This was 3 to 5 years of my life waiting on him. And I just got a referral signed, and he is so pleased with my referral.
Yeah.
So,
That's great.
Sometimes we hesitate to fire our clients. And in this business, we do have that second chance of at least doing a referral. So it's not, but too often we hang on to them. Exactly. Too often we just cling to them when we're better off to not.
We all learned that lesson.
It's a high determine your value. And then you really need to work with a client.
Mhm.
They have to be committed just as much as you are. It cannot be your wish to sell their house. It has to be their wish to sell their house. And a lot of times they do that. And that's a lot we'll talk about next week, is when people are, going in going, well, I don't really have to sell it right now. And if I get my price, I'll be okay. Those are big red flags. They are not committed to sell.
Huge red flags.
And, you may be better off to just let them go. Because, but sometimes it's tough talk too. Sometimes it's their tough talk doing that. So you do have to delve in when they say that and really find out how serious they are. And there's ways when you start going back down the list of things that you talk about with them that you'll be able to tell, okay, they're committed or they aren't committed, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, good idea on that topic.
There's a whole, well, we're doing an Excel meeting.
Have to re-qualify your
Yep, we're gonna talk about that and how to tell when they're committed or they aren't committed, and that you really should be working with committed people.
Maybe how to have those conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that you brought up that I thought was excellent, you were talking about putting the monkey back on their back. I think too often we take the accountability away from them because we're so eager to rush in to help. And then suddenly they don't feel like they really have to do it. And you're going, it's been 3 weeks, you've been in the market. I really need the property disclosure. I mean, there's certain things. I think we enable them to not do it because we just take it on.
Right, they're gonna assume that's the way it goes.
Mhm.
You're assuming those responsibilities because they don't know.
Right, they don't know the difference. It's how you educate them.
You should have a system for how you market homes and what you do for buyers and what you do for sellers. And you do the same thing for each one. And when you present it as a system to them of what you do when you meet with them the first time, then it goes a long way opposed to, oh, I need to get that back. I'm like, okay, here's your paperwork, fill everything out. This needs to be left on the counter by this day before the photographer shows up, or email to me or scan to me. But you have a checklist and you have time frames of when everything needs to be completed or done or back to you or whatever. And if you do have it like a system, then it's gonna make you more organized, them more organized, and I give everybody a book. I have a marketing and I have a for buyers and for sellers. I give them a book everything in there, and they keep the book. I give them the paperwork as it goes, but it's organized and they know what to expect from me. And I have less problems because they know what to expect. It's laid out for them. And if they don't get it to me, I call them back and say, it's in your book. Oh, okay. So it's just, you refer them to that, and it takes off your back. But yeah, we'll be discussing a lot of that next week. Sure. I'll share you.
That reminds me of, once I've done a listing presentation and I know I'm going to get the business, it's very important to me, even at their dinner table, to have them sign a listing agreement while I'm there. And then if it's not going to go on MLS the very next day, we have them sign the non-MLS document at the very same time. But the next thing I want to happen is I want them to come into the office, and I want them to be part of getting them on MLS, because they know their home far better than I do, and I want them to approve the language that we use to talk about their home. And I have found that they get real involved. They like that. It's a couple-hour process, but they're sitting right there while I'm broker loading. I hand them all the forms to fill out, make sure that all the disclosure blanks are filled out by them. So they're captured and everything can get done at the same time, but they're part of the process. And I always get nervous when I'm broker loading a listing when the sellers, in this case, didn't catch a can. You know, because he's not going to be there to talk about his home. I've seen the home, but I know I can always do a better job if they're part of talking about their house, the things they liked about it when they bought the house. I want to put that on MLS, because that's probably the very reason the next buyer would buy the property. So that helps my stress level, helps get everything done at the same time. There was something else I was going to add. What was it? Oh, my stress level, and I hate to think that I have stress issues because I try to be in control of everything. Maybe that's why I have stress. That's it, isn't it?
You just anchored that one right down.
But as the day unfolds and the home office line is ringing and my cell phone is ringing and I'm getting 3 text messages and 10 emails all at the same time, yes, my stress level starts to go up a little bit. And I'd like to, I could fix that by not taking my calls, but that is not what I want to be. I want to be the realtor that almost every time I'm called, I answer the phone. Even if I have to say, I need to call you back, I'm on another line. But availability to me is very important, and maybe that's part of the control thing. Because as a realtor wanting to reach other realtors to show property or reach our clients to ask questions, when we can't reach those people, that's another stress level for us, because the ball has to stay in play. And if there's somebody that drops the ball, then you can't go any further either. So I want to be the realtor that can answer the phone as much as possible, but there's a price to pay. And I'm okay with the price, actually.
But the thing is too, is you don't have to answer all 10 of them at the same time. But when all that's happening, it's
Exactly.
the whole noise thing that we live in
Yeah,
today.
it's very noisy.
This is making this noise, this is making this noise, and you're like, you've got so much to do because you've got 10 people trying to reach at one time, and it's overwhelming. But it's the noise factor. I mean, way back when, people had to mail you something. There,
Yeah.
And so it's kind of funny, but then again, when you have all this that happens at one time, then you sit back for a second and you go, okay, I got to prioritize this. So you write down this person first, this next, this next, this next, this next. And that will just take a little bit of stress off you right there, just knowing you have it planned.
Mm-hmm.
That's who you got to call, who you have to respond to. And then again, if you can respond to someone in a second, then you do it. And you guys know about this app, right?
Slide out.
Yeah, Slide Out. Slide Out is a great app for when you just don't have a whole lot of time, but you need to respond to people. And what it is, it's an app on your phone called Slide Out, SLYDIAL. And what it does is you call, and it goes straight to their voicemail, their phone number rings. And so you can call through Slide Out, and you can leave them whatever message to answer their questions that you need without having to have a very long conversation with them. Because there's some people that it's going to be 20 minutes out of your time. Almost impossible to get off the phone with them. We all have those people. And Slide Out is perfect for that time. Or you just just anything quick you need to do. You just just make that quick phone call, you've done, you can get so many calls made in like 5 minutes. So.
You know, back to the noise factor, and I think you hit it on the head. I've been wondering why all this commotion is starting to finally affect me. And I think it's the noise factor, and it made me realize as well that I've never been in a military combat zone. But if you think about what causes post-stress disorder, it's probably,
Stress.
it's all that noise and danger. And I've been thinking that, at least with me, that maybe I'm experiencing a little bit of that type of stress because of all that noise. And it's not danger so much, of course. We're not really being physically shot at, but in some ways we are being shot at. If we don't respond, get our job done right, you know, on and on and on. So I just need to drink more water.
Sometimes I think we can be smart enough with our phones that we have this real tendency that every reminder, everything we do in it, we've got it binging, tinging, doing something. And not everybody shuts them off at night. And so while you think you're sleeping and someone's leaving you a voicemail or whatever, if you haven't put it on a night setup, it's going off all night. Even if you're not really waking up, you're still hearing it.
Any other thoughts or comments from Gina?
Which I think is really, I think it's so.
That's very polite.
It's so rude sometimes because you can't help it. It's like you just can't help it. You look. And so when this thing comes on and the thing comes up, and you're talking to someone, you're looking over here, and you're like, oh, yeah, I am so trying not to do that anymore. And I try to turn the phone upside down when someone is talking to me, and then talk to them, and then when they're done, I'll turn it over and see whatever happens. But it's just, I hate that. I hate it when people do it to me, and so I'm really trying my best not to do it to other people too, because I think it's rude. It's just rude. And we have gotten to this society now that we don't think about what's polite and what isn't. And plus it stresses you out because you're like, oh gosh, that bad. I need to get this when I'm talking to this person. I need to hurry the conversation so I can return this phone call. And so you're just like, it causes stress. If you don't even see it, you don't see it. You turn the sound off, you don't even hear it. And you turn it over and you've got 10. Okay, you got 10, you get it.
I'd like to know why so many people send text messages without identifying who they are, number one. Or why don't they just make a phone call and get the thing handled? I know I'm a bit of a dinosaur in that respect, and I do text, and I get a million texts, but why do people do that? Can't we get a lot more accomplished with a quick phone call?
Well,
No, it takes longer.
multitasking. They're sitting in a meeting, but they're sitting in a meeting or class or something else where they can't make a phone call, but they're texting. So they're doing two things at one time. When they really should be paying attention wherever they are, and then make the phone call later. But they're doing 2-3 things at one time and not really focusing on.
Well, is that the only reason then that everyone's texting? Why do people text? Texting is faster than a phone call?
For most cases, because you're not getting into any conversation about anything else. I do a 10-second text, you give me a 10-second answer, and we're done and on our way, instead of a 5-minute phone call.
But you do tell people who you are, right?
Oh, always.
I've had realtors send me text messages and ask all kinds of questions, and I'll say, who is this?
I have to.
For the email instead, I think it's paper trail, so they don't have to remember what time if they want to go show a house, your home. Or I've actually come into a lot of listing agents that, yeah, okay, that's fine. Just text me so I can remember. Or so I just got into the habit with, hey, this is Megan with Jack White. I just wanted to let you know. I just wanted to know if I could see your home and yada yada yada. But I always.
Like Kathy, don't you have a signature on yours?
I have a signature on mine,
I
yeah.
do too.
Yeah.
But like Helen Jarrett sent me a note and I thought, what's this? And I just roll back and see, oh yeah, it was Helen. So, but I mean, she doesn't know. She doesn't know the signature. So maybe I would just help her. Put a signature on.
No, that's her monkey, just don't worry about it.
There you go.
That's my fault. I do that.
Gina, thank you so much. Any other questions while we've captured Gina here today? Thanks for taking the time for all this prep, by the way.
Jeez.
So we'll see everybody next Tuesday. Have a great week. Keep your stress under control.
What would you like sent in for pictures? There's blank packets right here.
Let's,
Ask Amanda.
Okay, I'll explain that in a second.
Okay.
2 seconds.
I would send all of Gina's material. Gina's-
Did you write all over your material?
I have all mine, didn't you?
I wrote all over.
Oh, gosh. Get a blank. Gina, can we have a blank? We want to send, we always send one out to management. Yes, sir.
I'm going to
Here's
have
the
lunch,
test.
James,
Oh.
and eat from you before I leave.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll have my breakfast.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to.
And I don't know if you want to put this with it, this is like an answer, like the activity you fill out.
Oh,
for the
sure,
test.
that part was the cutest.
There you go.
Thanks so much, Gina. Appreciate it.
I'm going to explain to her what we do with trenches.
Good.
She did. Yes,
I will.
We have a lot of fun here. You won, all your problems get solved.
That's right.
No, it's
Touch base with you
accumulating,
later.
but we're only.
So trenches, these
accumulate
are
the
the baby steps. So
Yeah, right.
So every
I don't know
open
if I
house
was-
on the spring plate, you show, for every opt-in plate, you get a point. And these are theoretically things that will be great. And so for every point that you get, it goes on your team. Winning team, as Kathy said, or actually losing team, is to do something special for the other team. And basically, we just keep track of it as you go throughout the week. And then Monday or Tuesday, we're cut.
So you need to find your settings, go to your daily.
Marty, do you have your points for me? So you can email them to me, or what some people in the class do is they just go and they get it, and then they just, and then I update the points. Basically, that's all it is. So I mean, for every name tag, every day you run it, you get a point. Or your business card, you get a point. You know, Aaron has so many business cards because he does mailers with his business card in them, you know, so on and so forth. And so basically, it's proof of you if you're doing these things and you're successful. It really helps me just to keep track of what I'm doing, so that if I look down and I'm like, great, nothing changed this week.
Right.
We gotta do something different.
Right,
So
right.
that's kind of how I use it. Helps get the competition going, you know?
Okay.
A little bit helps drive you. You've got no other reason to do real estate
Right,
other than to
right.
beat the other team.
So Swift, how
Sweet.
to
That's basically what it is.
place your signature?
Okay, and then that's my email. You can email me your points. And when you email
Do you
your
just
points,
do this wear name tag, so you just count that every day?
yeah, every day you're
But how are they
supposed to wear 26.
Android phone.
Oh, okay, girl, I'm like.
You're like, this math is just not working.
Right, I just don't know.
Okay, so I can add my open house that I did this
Yeah,
weekend then?
yeah, if you, yeah, in fact, if you want to fill out points, where is it, on mine right here, I will go ahead and update those.
Place the signature.
I showed 1, 2, 3.
Press menu options. Oh, wait, you don't have stamps on it.
When did I close? I closed.
And then every closing is worth 5 points.
Cause I've closed one, but they haven't been with Jack White yet, so should I not count it? Probably not. Right.
Yeah. And then she'll say,
I
those
will.
5 points are gone.
Right, I did do a listing presentation.
I have 14. 14, what can
I just found that word. You just write right under the zeros, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Or next to the number, I just know that what's in pen is what's new.
So.
I've been to boot
I
camp.
will
I
be
don't
today
know how many classes.
in 1 week.
I can count when I get it back upstairs. I'll
Okay.
bring the number.
Yeah. In fact, do you know where my office? Oh, actually, I need this paper.
No, it's totally fine. I
You
can fill this
email
out
me-
later and
yeah.
then we can just update it next week. So I
Okay.
can think about all the.
Even if, I know I can get your stuff off MLS, but if you wouldn't mind even shooting me an email when you get back up there, that's great, because I put your email in a list of people that attend regularly.
Yeah.
And that way you guys get to know the topics before you're sitting here turning points, reminders, all that kind of stuff.
Right on.
And the emails only go out Monday, Tuesday from me, so you're not getting blown up the whole time.
My email every day, I get a bunch of junk. I sign, every website I sign up for, from when I'm buying stuff, I always put in my damn email. And they send me all these offers,
Oh my God,
and I'm
no.
like, I don't wanna
Okay,
unsubscribe, because
so-
they might have something.
Maybe, right? No, so I was calling my company today and I thought we were going to apply for anything that I was doing.
Search the web until we figure it out. I don't know, I gotta go get my kids up.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
See you next week. Yep, bet. Well, it's class. Oh, it's good.